What's up guys, I'm Greg, you're watching the Car Passion channel, and today I'm going to show you how to do a repair that probably most of your Miatas need, how to replace your speedometer cable. So the first thing we're going to... Oh, this? You want one of these shirts? Well, you are in luck, my friend, because for the next 2 weeks, this shirt is going to be available for pre-order through Downshift Apparel. Look at that. Isn't that freaking epic? Now, Downshift Apparel is the company that's going to be carrying all of the Car Passion channel merchandise. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why am I going through a third-party company that's probably gonna, take all my money and I'm never gonna see anything? But it's not like that. Downshift Apparel is actually run by a group of car enthusiasts just like you and me. In fact, they have a YouTube channel themselves that's all about Miatas called East County Garage. And on their website, you'll be able to pre-order this shirt. There's also a Broken Boosted t-shirt. We got the Car Passion channel lanyards, as well as all 3 of my decal designs. So even though it's my own stuff, I still want to hook you guys up with a coupon code CARPASSION that's going to save you money on anything you want to order. And let's say you don't like any of the stuff I'm selling, which is completely fine. Downshift actually has their own product line with shirts and lanyards and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you like something from them and you use my coupon code, it still helps me out. I don't want to talk about it for too long, so I'm going to leave you a link down in the description that's going to bring you to my website, tell you all about Downshift, and tell you how to win the giveaway, which is a shirt, lanyard, and decal free shipped to your door courtesy of Downshift. How nice is that? So I'll go ahead and wait here for a few minutes while you drop a bunch of stuff in your cart, and I'll see you when you get back for a speedometer cable install. So the first part of replacing your speedometer cable is figuring out if you actually have to replace it. So the symptoms of a bad speedometer cable are your speedometer reads 0 all the time, or your speedometer does like this the whole time you're driving, kind of like your mom's telling you like not to do something. Or like when it's cold out, it just constantly squeaks. Now my Speedo does most of those things, and as a bonus, if it's extra cold out, it'll just randomly shoot up to 140 as I'm cruising highway speed, so I know I need a new one. The first step is getting the old one out. Put the car up on stands, and I'm gonna get underneath and disconnect it from the transmission. You can see the speedometer cable here. Goes through the PPF right there, and up there you can see a 10mm bolt which holds the speed sensor into the transmission. You will not need to remove that, but you will have to unthread the 22mm sleeve that holds the Speedo cable in. I typically just use a crescent wrench because it's never that tight. Once that's loose, you just unthread it all the way. Sorry, this is horrible lighting. This is really hard to film and take off at the same time. You just unthread this all the way, and then you pull your speedometer cable out, and you'll just have it chilling like this for now. Following the cable up towards the engine bay, you just have a little plastic clip right here, just pops out. Following it up further, you have another plastic clip. Coming up to the engine bay here, I want to make as much room as possible, so I'm going to get these coils out of the way, just a couple 12mm bolts, and that'll give me a little bit more room to work with. With the ignition coils undone, you can see your final little tab back there. That metal ribbon attached to the firewall, you just have to unfold it and it will free up the speedometer cable from behind the head. Unlike how I showed it, this little piece actually is supposed to come with the cable when it pops out. The new Speedo cable will have this on it already. To disconnect the cable from the cluster itself, there's 2 ways to do it. There's the Mike the Miata King way, and then there's the Car Passion I'm Feeling Lucky way. I always like to pull this hood off of the cluster, but a lot of people report that the clips break very easily. I've never had an issue with it myself, so I'm gonna pull this off. There's just a Phillips head here and over here. You will have to take this little cover off of the steering column to get the hood off. Once the screws are out of the hood, just give it a little pull and work it off of the gauges. Now that the hood's off behind the cluster, you can see that white plug. That's where the cable goes into the Speedo itself. That plug's got a clip on it that you have access to. You just have to push that clip down and pop the cable off the back of the cluster. Now, Mike the Miata King's way of doing this is without removing the hood, You can actually reach your arm up under the dash and get access to that clip from below if you have skinny arms. So maybe try it that way first if you're scared of breaking clips. That's a little pro tip from Mike, the Miata King. So back at the firewall here, you have this circular plug and it's got a rectangular back piece on it. Underneath this rectangle there are two tabs and you have to squeeze those together. I know it's kind of hard to see here. Squeeze them together and you will be able to pull the speedometer cable out of the firewall. Now at this point it's free from everything. You just kind of have to snake it out of the car and you're ready to get started on putting the new one in. It's kind of getting snagged on a couple things. Easier with two people, but you might have to go back underneath and see what it's getting caught on. But you can basically keep on pulling this up and you'll get the whole thing out this way. Now you take your new cable, and the reason this doesn't look very new is because I jacked it off the other car and it's only got a couple thousand miles on it. It's pretty much perfect. Anyways, take your new cable and you're gonna slide it back in exactly the same way the old cable came out, starting from the top. Once I get it on top of the transmission stuffed down about this far, I'll go underneath the car and put it in its clips and screw it into the transmission. I'm not kidding you, the cable, the way I fed it from the top, just fell right below where it's gonna get hooked up to the trans. So I know it's like a little bit intimidating how this thing is all snaked up through the engine bay, but I promise you guys it's not that difficult. Now I just gotta run it through the PPF and hook it up to the transmission. You see the end of the cable has got a little tooth on it. It'll only go into the speed sensor one direction, so you kind of have to fiddle with it a little bit to get it to go in. Just have to thread this back on. And this doesn't have to be crazy tight. You can just make it as tight as you can with your hand and it's not going to come out. Once that's threaded in, you can pull up the extra slack of this cable back into the engine bay and you'll be able to put the cable itself back into the clips down here. Once it's all clipped back in, you can go back up into the engine bay. This will take a little bit of bending to get back into its home there. And you can kind of watch it over on the other side through the windshield to make sure it's going in the right place. You can see there I have it almost coupled up. You might have to reach under the dash and kind of guide it through. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. Make sure you feel the little click when you push that on to make sure it's all the way seated. You can go ahead and replace the gauge hood. Also, make sure the grommet is all the way seated so you're not allowing any moisture to get in. Alright guys, well that's how you replace your speedometer cable. I recommend pretty much anyone go out and try this repair. It's maybe a 2.5 out of 10 on the difficulty scale and it requires pretty basic tools to get it done. You can tell from that little pull that the speedometer is now butter smooth and completely silent. If you remember from any of the old broken boosted videos where I did videos of the gauges, the speedometer was always like super wacky, so I'm just glad to have that thing fixed. If you like this shirt, guys, don't forget, only 2 weeks it's going to be available for and then it is gone. Thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the content. I know I've been promising VVT videos. Don't worry, they are coming. Thanks for being patient. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.
Back from the dead.
Alright guys, well that's how you... Hey, you're hitting my tripod. Car Passion dog, go over there. Following it up further, you have another plastic clip. God. With the ricer in the background to make it even better.